taste it. Football! It's right around the corner. Namco here, Dustin there. You're probably drafting, and if you are, we're talking about some risers here. These are guys that over the last couple weeks have kind of gone up our draft boards a little bit.
Or just draft boards in general. Maybe we already had them where they should have been all along.
There's actually a lot of them on here.
So before we get into it though, we got our FanDuel game that we're doing again this year. It's Beat the Experts. Click the link in the description to join. It's a $5 game. You win the cash just like you would in any other game, but if you finish, I think it's the top 3, and you beat all the experts, then you get a free entry into a game the next week. It's either top 2 or top 3, but either way, if you beat all of us and you're one of the top people, you can get a free entry and you win the cash just like you would in any other game. So get in there. It's going to be a lot of fun.
All right, first guy on our list is a guy Dustin tried to pry away from me. He tried so hard.
I like.
Keeper auction league, he just was like, name call, I want him. And that is Mr. McCaffrey of the Carolina Panthers. And it's not because they said, oh, he's going to get 20 to 25 touches.
No, they said 25 to 30.
25 to 30.
That was a little
which
bridge.
Is nuts. But he might get 20. The preseason's been really interesting on him. He's gotten all the first team reps. He's looked really good at it. That awesome 71-yard run for a touch. I mean, he's just looked good. He is getting the bulk of carries. But the reason we like him moving up the board, especially his PPR leagues, let's say he does get 15 carries a game. With the catches, his volume alone, he's going to be very solid. PPR, I am fine with him at the end or the beginning of the second round.
I think those reports actually could end up making him be a little overdrafted, but I still love him.
Well, he's not going to go. I'd take him beginning of the second, not like the first pick. Let's say number 14 overall, though. I'm okay with that in a PPR.
Yeah, PPR. PPR, yeah. I'm fine with that. James Washington is next with the Steelers. Rookie wide receiver. This guy just had a monster preseason game, had 114 yards and 2 touchdowns. Looked amazing. Big Ben's been starting to talk him up a little bit. And on that offense, it's very possible he could carve a role and have a fantasy relevant season. Now, does it mean you should go crazy over it and draft him in shallow 10-team leagues? No, but in deeper 10-team leagues and 12-team leagues, I think all this hype, all this moving up, it just gets him drafted. I think as a wide receiver 5 or 6, he's just a fun late round guy to grab. Obviously it's tricky for rookie wide receivers to have a lot of fantasy value, but he fits all of the criteria for where a guy could have fantasy value as a rookie in terms of the offense that he's on, what he's going to be asked to do, and I think he will have some monster games this year. So he's at least someone to get on your radar.
All right, next up, we got Mr. Freeman, running back for the Denver Broncos. I feel like we're talking about this situation every video, but that's because it's changing. They took him in the 3rd round. It was Freeman's job. And we're like, yeah, don't forget about Booker. Then Denver was like, oh, we didn't forget about Booker. And then they started playing preseason, and Booker didn't look so good. So now all of a sudden, we're back on Freeman going up. And what it looks like it's going to be is kind of a committee, hot hand approach to at least start the year. Booker will probably get the starting gig, but I think they'll split a lot. But I think Freeman's going to also get the goal line, so he's moving up our draft board because of that reason.
Andrew Luck is next. Obviously, with all of these shoulder issues, we wanted to see him play. We wanted to see him actually throw a football, which hadn't been like a year since. That's just crazy that a quarterback hadn't thrown a football in like a year, which is a little nuts. But we've moved him up a little bit. We've moved him up to our number 11 quarterback. We know what he can do. He has top 5 QB potential. And he has been kind of a mixed bag so far in the preseason, but just the fact that he's out there gives us more confidence to move him up. He's still just outside our top 10, but he is moving up, and we think it's justified.
Love this next guy, Anthony Miller, Chicago Bears. 2nd rounder out of Memphis. He's a little bit of an older for rookies. He's not like super young, which I actually kind of like, but just a lot of buzz about him early on in camp, right? And then as the preseason's gone on, the more we've seen camp, it looks like he's probably going to play in the slot. Now it's like he's a lock to be the slot guy. Now all of a sudden they're targeting him a ton in practice. Oh, Trubisky loves him. This guy is PPR gold in the late round. In not super deep leagues, but in a league that should be normal where you start 3 wide receivers, because that's what a league should be, by the way. You start 2 running backs, 3 receivers. And in a PPR, I'm grabbing him in every league. I love him late. I think he's a great lottery ticket.
That Bears offense, I'm telling you. Trubisky.
It's not the Bears offense.
Trubisky. Rishard Matthews is next, Tennessee wide receiver. We said it in our ranking show. We think he's the best wide receiver fantasy-wise on Tennessee. And there's this weird, like, he wasn't playing, it was undisclosed, and now he just got a contract extension. Now they're saying that it might have been related to his contract extension. But either way, he's signed, he's ready to go. All that kind of weirdness is gone. It's time to move him. You know, I think he was starting to move down with all that weirdness. It's time to move him back up, draft him with confidence. You know, we don't really have him super high, but we do think that offense, you know, could rebound this year, and we think Matthews could have, you know, definitely wide receiver 3 potential this year.
Hey, Dustin, what does everybody love?
A sleeper?
Slash.
Undervalued?
And that's what we said about Mr. Goodwin.
There you go.
Good work. With the 49ers. We loved him before it was cool to love him. And now there's so many crazy reports coming out of camp. He's Jimmy's favorite target. Oh my God, the connection. He looks great. Oh, this is the best shape he's been in. He's running great routes, all that stuff. This is stuff that we told you so. We knew. Hopefully you got him early because his ADP is flying up.
It has gone pretty nuts.
Oh, it's going crazy. And we thought it should be. So now he's starting to settle in right where we thought it should. So he's on this list because he's a riser, but we just liked him.
He just stayed where we already had him.
Yeah, we didn't have to do nothing to our rankings.
Adrian Peterson is next, and this is, I mean, I will say it's been a roller coaster for Peterson in my mind in terms of, it seems like I keep guessing wrong with him. I didn't believe it when he came back and he blew up, and then I over-believed and then he didn't do well. So now it's like, I don't know what to think with Peterson, but it is a great situation.
It is.
And it could happen. It could, in terms of just being relevant. And I think if you can get him as your RB4 or 5, just stick him on your bench, see what happens. I mean, the potential is there. The Redskins need someone to step up for them. And Perine and Kelly, I just don't know if there's anything to really get excited about there. Thompson, obviously, but Peterson's got a real shot here to get 15-plus touches a game if he can hold off those other guys. So,
all right, last guy I got to 37-year-old tight end, and you'd be like, how the heck is a 37-year-old tight end a riser? But that's Benjamin Watson. Apparently, the reports at camps looked really good. Drew Brees is Drew Brees. He's a very accurate quarterback. And the fact of the matter is, if you miss out on all those other tight ends, and you're just like, kind of like, what should I do late? I am totally fine you taking like Kittle and Watson, pairing them up, and I think one of those two will pan out, or whoever might be of those kind of combos. So Watson's a guy that a couple weeks ago was on nobody's radar. He's on this list because you don't have to draft him by any means. He can go undrafted in leagues, but he just should be on your radar at this point.
I think he's going to have a good year.
I think he's nothing crazy, but
I think maybe 700-800 yards.
I would say 806 touchdowns. Is that crazy?
7-8 touchdowns.
Not at all.
I think it's very possible. He doesn't have the recognition in terms of being able to have trade value much, but I think he could be a steady Eddie tight end for you. Keelan Cole's the last guy on this list. His last 5 games last year were absolutely ridiculous. He helped a lot of people get to fantasy championships. But it's just so crowded out there with Lee and Moncrief and Dede Westbrook and all the reports about Dede and how great he's looked.
Dede!
But the reports as of late have been talking about how good Cole's looked, and that's moved him. Because if he wins that starting job, I mean, that offense is going to have decent amount of yards to go around. He could be a really sneaky late-round guy. I think he's one of my favorite late-round guys to just grab and just see what happens. But that's our risers. Check out all of our other videos. Get into our FanDuel games.
It's your last pick in a PPR. Miller, Cole, or Steeler? Washington.
James Washington. I mean, I think Cole has the highest upside. Rookie receivers are still tricky.
I'm Pickle Rick.
Huh?
I'm Pickle Rick! Comment below if you know what that means, because Dustin clearly doesn't.
Pickle Rick?
I'm Pickle Rick.
I'm Pickle Rick.
I told you to watch the show.
Oh, I'm busy.
Good answer.
I'm busy.